Psych Perspectives, giofvcks here. And this is going to be like one of those videos. Again, I wasn't really planning a live, but I just was thinking about this lately. Let's talk about Wall Street and how it's just weird how Wall Street can be doing well. Economically, financially, doing absolutely, positively well. I mean, people getting bonuses, CEOs getting bonuses, getting break off, record breaking numbers, y'all. Record breaking numbers, right? But people on Main Street, are you having record breaking numbers? Probably not. So Wall Street power stocks higher, oil lower as world leaders press Russia. Let's say that again. Wall Street power stocks higher, oil lower as world leaders press Russia. Now, how is oil lower yet we're paying $4 and $5 a gallon? Okay, anyways, this is on Reuters.com. All right, link will be in the description box below. So, key things. U.S. equities jump with tech-led NASDAQ up nearly 2%. Oil drops by 3%, still above $110 a barrel. You're getting a barrel of gas for $110. It dropped 3%. Yet you got people paying $90 to fill up their damn tank. You got people paying well over $100 to fill up their tank. Yet oil drops 3%. And it's still above $110 for an entire barrel. Go buy a barrel. What's the point of paying $90? You feel me? But that's what I'm talking about. They can manipulate all these numbers. Things can be actually lower and cheaper, but then they turn around and price gouge us. Pay attention. Hey, Anna, what's going on? Hey, love from Trinidad in the Caribbean. Oh my God, thank you. Thank you for tuning in. It's late, but I'm just talking about Wall Street, capitalism, and just the mess that's going on. U.S. Treasury yields inch up further. Gold up more than 1%. So anyways, U.S. stocks rose following a choppy trading abroad on Thursday, and oil prices pulled back as investors watch Western leaders present a unified front against Russia's invasion of Ukraine. So again, we're seeing how the war in Europe, with the focus on Russia and Ukraine, and how that is contributing to how stocks are being manipulated and played, where resources are going, where cost is going up, where cost is going down, and how it's ultimately impacting our lives, like seriously. But here's the thing. There's war going on right now in Palestine. People are being murdered, killed, and slaughtered in Palestine by Israelis. Yep. Because Israel is, also at war with innocent people. Like, they don't have any resources there, but nobody's talking about that. It's really odd. Again, what type of war or acts against humanity we will focus on while completely ignoring other things that are very similar in other places. It's really wild to me. But anyways, technology companies lifted U.S. stock indexes after a sharp fall in the previous season, with the tech-heavy NASDAQ composite up 269.24 points, or nearly 2%, right? Then you had the Dow Jones Industrial Average rose 349.44%, or 1%. I flipped it. Anyways, so you see the stock is going up, especially with the tech companies, which makes a lot of sense because what is Russia known for? Cyber hacking. And you see a lot of, tech companies really boosting and rallying and rooting themselves up because now they're really on deck, you know, trying to protect everybody from cyber attacks, which that's another thing. The crazy shit that may take place, that we may witness and see with all these cyber attacks. Okay, and the manipulation of the internet, manipulation of information, people's identities, assets, money's being stolen and, you know, or froze. We're seeing all of that take place. I also think it's wild how the USA is always like, oh, well, the oligarchs in Russia. The oligarchs in Russia. But what is Wall Street? What are a lot of the wealthy people in the USA? What are a lot of these big time businessmen and women and folk? Aren't they oligarchs too? I mean, let's just talk about it. What's going on, Nikki Sunshine? Thanks for tuning in. I know it's late. We're talking about Wall Street, economics, what's going on with the wars, the multiple wars going on, really, but also talking about what's going on in Ukraine and such and such. Thanks for tuning in tonight. Hey, Love JJ 1814. Thanks for tuning in. Thank y'all for tuning in. But yes. So this is what doesn't make sense, right? The dollar rose for the fourth time in the past 5 sessions as economic data on the U.S. labor market helped firm expectations that the Fed will be more aggressive in taking steps to curb inflation. The dollar index rose 0.15%, with the euro down basically $1. The sharp, hawkish repricing of Fed rate hike expectations has mainly benefited the U.S. dollar against low-yielding currencies, whose own domestic central banks are expected to lag well far behind the Fed in tightening policy. Now, this is what's wild to me. They can talk all of this, you know, jibber jabber, ba 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 jaboo, but the people on Main Street are not feeling the resurgence, the boom, the excitement that the people at Wall Street and the rich and the wealthy and the corporations are feeling, okay? Because they're talking about how oil prices, you know, are the actual barrel of oil is $110, but yet you got people paying $90 and up to fill up their tanks. You're not getting a barrel of oil. You're getting 15, 16 gallons. So come on. And you're paying 90 when somebody else is getting a barrel for 110. You got to start asking. Oil prices have gone down by 3%, y'all. So you got to ask. Now I will be honest, I am starting to see the prices go down through my state. There are, like, I seen one for $4.15, but I'm seeing some $3.99s, right? But here's the thing. I'm in Michigan. Individual states have temporarily terminated the gas taxes. But that's by individual states. It hasn't happened federally. But I've seen, like I said, the highest I saw it was $4.25 in my area. So seeing it go to $4.15 and then seeing some $3.99s, I feel like, okay, we are kind of seeing a little trickle down of, okay, gas prices are going down. But again, they don't have to be high to begin with. This is all speculation. Again, they are looking at what's going on in Europe, in Ukraine, and Russia, and they're basing their speculations off of that to determine where they're going to put their money in, where they're going to invest in when it comes to resources such as technology, you know, raw materials, you know, oil, gas, you know, different things that they'll invest in and they'll speculate in, and then they're just like almost like playing games, you know. I mean, that's basically what it feels like, you know. Let's see. I'm sorry, I am not seeing all of this. Nikki Sunshine tuning in from Connecticut. What's good? What's good? Man, the little man P in Russia didn't want to say his name, but He just threatened again to drop a nuclear weapon on us. America needs to stay out of this fight. This is crazy. I agree. I mean, me personally, I'm pretty much a pacifist. Well, I'm a pacifist, but I'm also in between, in the sense of I don't believe in war. I don't believe, in violence and death and killing people. However, I do believe in having the right to defend yourself. But yes, I agree. Like the whole war, it's ridiculous. Doesn't have to be happening, shouldn't be happening, and my thing is what's going on in Palestine doesn't have to be happening and shouldn't be happening. I mean, what's going on across this world in various countries, and continents across this world, the stuff that's going on doesn't have to be going on. We could be doing so much better, but it's wild out here. Love JJ, but keep in mind Palestine folk are brown, not white, so of course the globe could care less about their people. Will you speak? Will you speak, Love JJ 1814? Will you speak? Exactly. Because that's why I'm like, I'm looking at this like, what's happening is horrible. But it's mind-boggling how they can show the faces and the struggles of what's going on in Ukraine, but a lot of people don't know what's going on in Yemen. A lot of people don't know what's going on in Palestine. A lot of people don't know what's going on in other parts of the world, but they are zooming in. War in Europe, oh my God. It's like the 1940s, oh my God. And don't get me wrong, what's happening in Ukraine is horrible. But what's happening in Palestine, what's happening in Yemen, what's happening around the world is horrible. And it's like, why aren't we taking action to stop with this from happening across the globe, across the world? You feel me? It's wild. Nikki, yes, they are using this as an excuse to kill us financially. Connecticut is one of those states, so we should be seeing a tiny difference. You will, yeah, I agree with you. Because, I mean, they are just twisting and turning and just bleeding us dry. I mean, we have food shortages. We have labor shortages. Everything has gone up, but you notice you're getting smaller and smaller quantities of the stuff that you're buying, yet your prices are going up. And then you got Wall Street over there having a party. They celebrating record-breaking numbers and profits. They in there just getting it on. While we over here, most of us are literally just one missed paycheck from poverty. Any type of a setback can send us into poverty. And many people are impoverished. But yet, Wall Street racking in them dollars. Sad out here. It's crazy. The Western world, i.e. the U.S., loves war. This country likes blood and bombs. This is a dream for the military complex. Yep. The military, I mean, they got to keep the war machine going to make money. They don't care about anybody's lives. They don't care. Quiet as it's kept, the powers that be, in my opinion, the global elite, the ones with all the wealth, the corporations, all the money, all the assets, they don't care about any of us. Rather you in Ukraine, rather you in the U.S., rather you in Palestine. They don't care about any of us. What they care about is the money. And that's my personal opinion. That's my personal opinion. And I have this opinion because I'm looking around and I'm also studying and learning from history and reading and researching and observing and then also looking at what I'm going through. And it's just like, they don't care about any of us. It's all about the money. Keep that war machine going because the war makes money. And if you notice something, when you look at the USA, that's all the USA pretty much knows is war. And also, historically, a lot of times when the USA is going through an economic hardship and the world is also going through an economic hardship, it's a depression essentially. What's used to pull everybody out of that financial depression, or, most people or some people out of that financial hardship, that depression, is war. War. They will use war to get materials going, get people working again, get people fighting and killing each other at a large scale in the middle of a pandemic, in the middle of climate change crisis. We got tornadoes whipping through Texas, Louisiana. We got all this wild, out of whack weather. We in a pandemic and we got all these wars going on, and it might end up, the way things are looking, and I'm just like, again, none of us I don't want to see this, right? I don't want to see people going through pain, suffering, hurt, death, violence, destruction, hell. I don't want to see people going through that. I don't want to go through that, right? I don't wish that on anyone, right? Like, I don't wish that on anyone, but looking at history and examining and like just paying attention, history repeats itself, unfortunately, because people don't learn from the lessons, and this could end up being World War III. Like you said, Nikki, you got Russia's president Vladimir Putin threatening nuclear war. And a lot of people are not seeing how serious this is. A lot of people just want to sit back and this ain't, I played Call of Duty on the weekends with the boys. And it's like, everybody is just carrying on as if all this shit is not really happening. That's what's getting me. Really, it's a global war. You got wars all over the place. The world is literally on fire because of climate change. You got the rich and the wealthy just racking up money. They have tripled and quadrupled their wealth off of the backs of us, of the people, of the workers, of the laborers, of the community, of us. Meanwhile, we sitting up, people siphoning gas from other people's cars because they can't afford to get gas. That's how bad. Millions and billions, hundreds of millions and billions, not hundreds of billions, but you get what I mean, of people across the world, globally, are impoverished. But you got all these people rolling around with the dough. Okay, I'm just saying. Anyways, like Michael Jackson said, best way. All I want to say is they don't really care about us. You listen. It's the truth. It's the truth. Don't give a damn. And all this is going on. And what you got to do, get your ass up and go to work. That's what Kim Kardashian, also a part of the 1%. Let's just be real. You got Kim Kardashian telling us to get up and go take your ass to work. Meanwhile, you taking your ass to work, and you are literally potentially going to die in a tornado, a windstorm, a snowstorm. It might be an earthquake. Oh, by the way, there might be a mass shooting too, right? Because we have those a lot as well. You feel me? Or it might be somebody mad and just take you out because of road rage. Or you might end up, depending on who you are, even though it's mostly women and feminine people that are being attacked like this. But you might just be walking in the store, minding your business, and then boom, you getting kidnapped and now you sex trafficked. That's the crazy shit that's going on in our world. But get your ass up and work. And then we're constantly being told to ignore it. But that's what gets me. But link to this article will be in the description box below. I want to go to another article because it's like, I'm just sitting back like they are having record-breaking, they're having record-breaking profits. And it's just like, How is this all happening? And yet, everyday people are struggling. Can't make ends meet. Don't know how they're going to get through. And it's just... So I just want to talk about this. I'm going to pull up, because there's article on article on article, but I'm on Bloomberg.com. Now let's talk about Wall Street profits surge and bonuses will follow. I'm going to say that again. Wall Street profits surge and bonuses will follow. Yet, are you getting a bonus? Or are you, oh, good evening. Are you getting a bonus, or are you, no, you're probably seeing that your wages are still low and stagnant, and yet it's $90 or more for you to fill up your car. You go and pick up, a bag of chips, a case of water, some deodorant, some dog food, and it's $45. Like, you sitting back like, wait a minute, what's going on? Everything has gone up. Rent. We can talk about this all day. Rent prices. Property taxes. Mortgages. Everybody's sitting up watching their shit go up, but yet none of us are getting bonuses. We're not getting cost of living increases, inflation increases with our wages and salaries. We're not getting any of that. But Wall Street profits are surging and bonuses will follow. So, New York security, and this is from, I believe this is October 21st, 2021. This is even before now. This is basically going on 6 months ago. It's been 5 months, but it's, you know what I mean, going on 5 months ago. But New York City securities industry earnings jumped 13% from a year earlier, which was in 2020 at this time. So I just want to talk about this. The industry pre-tax profits surged about 13% from a year earlier to $31 billion. Woo! That's pre-tax profits. That's $31 billion. Helped by strong trading, underwriting, and adversary activities. Right? Wall Street's success during the pandemic has benefited New York's economy. First of all, why is Wall Street able to earn and rack in all of this money, but people on Main Street, where was our successes during COVID? Currently, because we're still in a pandemic. What is going on? Where's our successes? Oh, that's right. We're just losing 1,000 plus people every single day to COVID. We just watched over 1 million people die. A lot of us lost family members, friends, community members, colleagues. We're watching people go through mental and physical health crisis. What bonuses and profits and successes are we getting? But yet we're making it for Wall Street, the rich, the wealthy, the corporations, to make all of this money and have success during a pandemic. But what are we getting? That's all I'm saying. What are you getting? What is your family getting? What is your community getting? How is this? Are you having successes? I mean, really, are you having successes? I mean, I'm sure people are having successful moments, and reaching goals and accomplishing things. So, I get it. All right. Oh, Night Owl, what's going on? Laugh out loud. Get your ass to work, though a tornado down the street. Exactly. It's crazy. They don't care. Hi, Lena. Thank you to everyone. Oh, thanks. Thank you. For real. Thank you to everyone. For real. Thank you, love JJ. Oh, wow. Oh, Nikki, yes. Let's not talk about the cost of living. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, they racking in profits. But what are you getting? Look at this. Let's talk about this. Bonuses for bankers are expected to rise by 6.5% for 2021 from a year earlier. So from 2020, okay, at the beginning of the pandemic into the following year, which was 2021, a year later into the pandemic, they're getting a 6.5% raise. But yet, where is everybody else? Like, where's our 6.5% raise? You feel me? Like, what are we getting out of this? You know, but again, Wall Street is doing well. Okay. Average salary. Oh, look at this. And mind you, this has been for their third consecutive annual jump. So that's like 2019, 2020, and 2021. That's their third consecutive increase. They've been doing this for a while, right? Average salaries included bonuses reached. This is the average salaries for people who are on, who are working on Wall Street, right? Look at this. Average salaries and bonuses reached $438,450 last year, 2021. The highest of all industries in the cities. Banks been increasing pay to attract new talent and retain existing staff. And that's something also to think about, is how certain fields are seen as more important, and they're seen as being more important because they're paid like they're more important. Because I know a lot of people who have degrees, multiple degrees, certifications, do amazing and very, very, very important work, but are we getting six figures? Are we getting, on average, the average salary, y'all, which combines the lower end of that to the higher end of that, and the average is $438,400. Say it with me, guys. $438,450. What would you do with that type of money? I'm quite sure you would lift yourself out of a lot of financial chains, right? You would break free from some of that shit. I know I would. I would be breaking free from a lot of things if that was my average take home. Like, what? Woo. And mind you, they're getting another raise, right? Because, things are going so well for the people that are up there, but yet people on Main Street, down here in the trenches, what are we getting? And it's crazy how they're able to profit off of the suffering, off of mass death, sickness, and destruction. They're profiting off of this. It's mind-boggling. But get this. The trend towards job cuts in the industry is expected to continue. So they're able to raise the wages and give them amazing wages for some. But they're also cutting and firing others, right? So again, the trend toward job cuts in the industry is expected to continue after it slashed 3,600 positions last year, a decline of about 2% and the most since 2009. Does anybody remember what happened in 2009 when we had to do all the fucking bailouts for the big time corporations and, car manufacturers, the GMs and what have you, when we had to bail out all of the banks? This is why I say you got to pay attention. History repeats itself. They cutting jobs, and yet this year, for 2021, they're talking about last year because this is when this article came out. This year, banks are expected to eliminate 4,900 jobs. Those are people who don't have jobs. What they gonna be doing? That's just something to think about. So I'm not going to keep this long because it's already about to be 30 minutes. But I just want to talk about that. Like, they are making profits and benefiting, having record-breaking numbers and successes. While many of us, what are we doing? You know what I mean? What are we doing? Okay, we'll go back up because I missed some of these, but I'm moving to Nikki. I'm moving to Florida soon. The cost of living is just as expensive as Connecticut, but at least I won't have to deal with high gas bill to stay warm in the winter. Smart. I get what you mean. I get what you mean. Cause now it's like, again, you gotta really weigh your pros and cons, and that's crazy that we have to think like this, but it's the truth. It's like, shit, and I'm about to read one more article because it's like, and I'm gonna have them in the description box below. But it's just so much stuff. But you're right. You gotta weigh your pros and cons to kind of figure out what's gonna be the best for your life, your outcome, and you really gotta think about those things. I feel you. Yes, if I didn't have a child, I would do the van life right now, even if it's just a short term and stack up. Look, even with your child. Even with your child, get you an RV or a van or an SUV. They got online school, and then you could give your child a more global perspective. Shoot, save money. I totally agree. Shoot, I see the tiny homes. I see the people renovating old buses, old trucks, old vans. People buying box trucks. People buying, it's doable. I mean, the people are saving money. There was this one guy that I used to watch on YouTube. He called himself the Homeless Firefighter. He saved enough money that he was going to use for a down payment on a house from living in his car. And he was living in a pickup truck. So think about it. Yeah. Sunshine, I hear you. Much respect to you about thinking about your child. Believe it or not, van life with kids is a thing. To each his own. Wishing you the best in Florida. Yeah. This is very true. But we wishing you the best in Florida or wherever you may go. Nothing but blessings, love, and success and prosperity. So, sending it your way. Love JJ1814. Think about it for a second. There's a small group of decision makers all around the world who are deciding who can be successful and to what extent. Deciding who survives and who struggles. F them all. Listen, you hit it on the nail. It's like, really? I'm going to read this one last one. This is from the Seattle Times. Wall Street profits drive average bonuses to a record. People, mind you, they already making six figures. Like I said, the average is $438,000 plus. $438,000 plus. They already making good money. But it gets even more, right? Wall Street profits are driving average bonuses to a record of $258,000. So not only are you already making damn near $500,000, but now we gonna give you, another quarter of $250,000 just because. But yet, we in this bitch making $14.92 an hour. That's what I make after taxes and deductions. And yet, you got a $300 utility bill. Then, paid a little under $1,200 to get the car fixed. And you barely getting $1,000 every 2 weeks. But yet, it's just wild to me. I be thinking, like, I definitely went into the wrong field. Like I should have just got my MBA or something. Because you feel me? But then, me personally, I would never feel okay, like I have a conscience. So I couldn't, you feel me? Yes, I want to make better money, but I'm not trying to exploit people to get there, if that makes sense. But anyways, The average security industry bonus was 20% higher than 2020 and came out of a bonus pool that grew to $45 billion. They had a bonus pool of $45 billion that they just threw at these people. Wall Street, banks, securities industry. So get this. Pre-tax profits through the first 3 quarters of 2021 for the broker-dealer operations on the New York Stock Exchange was increased to 19.6%, which comes out to $44.9 billion. That's the pre-tax. And I'm going to say this again. Let me talk about this. The securities industry accounts for 1/5 of private sector wages of New York City, despite making up 5% of the private sector employment. The industry also accounted for 18% of state tax collections and 7% of city tax collections in the government's 2021 fiscal year. Markets are turbulent as other sectors remain sluggish and uneven, and Russia rages in an inexcusable war on Ukraine's freedom. So again, a lot of things are at play to determine where these investors, right, these security industries, these banks, these people on Wall Street, right, corporations, people with money and wealth, assets and power, the 1%. They're literally like looking at the war in Ukraine and, like I said, other facets to determine where they're going to put their money at. And depending on where they put their money at, they will drive up the cost or they'll lower the cost. They'll create the demand or they'll diminish the supply. The supply and demand, they play all these games, y'all. And like they playing all these games, and yet these are our actual lives. We're living through this shit, and they're just like whatever. And it's just like it's crazy watching and witnessing it. But like I've always read about it because that's what I went to school for, and that's what I was interested in. And I always would read about history and politics and economics and global policy, what have you. And we so many of us like to tell ourselves, well, that happened back then, that wouldn't happen now. And a lot of the shit that we said that that happened back then, that wouldn't happen now, is happening right now. History repeats itself, y'all. And it's been repeating itself over and over and over because, in my opinion, humans, we don't want to be accountable, responsible. We don't want to learn. We don't want to change. We just want to continue to play the same shit. And I say humans collectively, including myself. That's my personal opinion. But links will be in the description box below. And I'm about to head on out. Like I said, I didn't want this to be super long. Thank you all for tuning in. I really appreciate you. Nikki Sunshine, Night Owl, Lena, Love JJ 1814. As always, thank you so much for tuning in and always holding it down. And y'all have a good night, or a safe night, or an okay night. Sending y'all love, positive energy. But for real, if you can stock up on non-perishable food items, stock up on your mask, stock up on water, beans, rice, what have you, canned goods, I would recommend it. Cause it's some wild stuff. That's just all that's the advice that I'm gonna give. And I'm out.